Hello everybody, welcome to the Daily Sip. My name is Oliver and my mission is to make you excited about organic Japanese green tea, and today we're gonna dive into two super green teas, so two Fukamushi or two deep steamed teas, how they're also called, and we're gonna dive into the Yamaga no Sato and we're gonna dive into the Murasaki Sencha. These two tea, very different but from the similar type. So one is coming from the city of Shizuoka. Shizuoka is actually in the north of Japan, or in the north of the tea growing regions, 2 hours south of Tokyo. And then we talk about the one here, which is coming from the south, so from the island of Kyushu. So this one here is a southern grown, southern born tea in Japan. And these two teas, they are, as I said in the beginning, two Fukamushis. So Fukamushi, for the ones of you who don't know, are deep steamed tea. This just means that during the process of the production of the tea, when it's harvested, it needs to go in the steam bath. Longer steam bath means Fukamushi, deep steamed. Shorter steam bath means Asamushi, short steamed tea. The difference mainly comes out in the color of the brewing. While when you have a Asamushi, so a short steamed tea, the liquor is quite golden and a little bit of a hint of shiny green. Meanwhile, the deep steamed tea has deep green color. Might be that you have sometimes seen some ads of Japanese green tea, and this tea is so very wonderful green. This is mostly done, or these shots are mostly done with Fukamushi tea. And today what we're gonna do is really to dive into these two teas. And first I will explain you a little bit what the difference of this tea is. And on the other hand, then we're gonna dive into the taste and really discover the taste difference of these two teas. So number one, on this side here, what we have is the Yamaga no Sato. What you can see in terms of tea leaves is that the Yamaga no Sato is a shaded tea for 1 week. Meanwhile, the Murasaki Sencha is not shaded, and you really see it in the leaves. While here we talk about a more dark shaded tea leaves, the other one clearly shows a little bit more of a greener, a little bit of a lighter green in its color, in the leaf color. So the Murasaki really shows a little bit of kind of a lighter green. So this is one difference. The other difference is that we talk with the Yamaga no Sato, we talk about the blend. So it's a mix of two leaves of different, or kind of two tea plant types. One is the Asatsuyu and one is the Yabukita. Asatsuyu is a very fine early budding cultivar, and the Yabukita, as some of you might know, it is the most famous or most spread among all the farmers in Japan due to its frost resistance and quite big yield. Meanwhile, the Asatsuyu is a tea you don't see too much. Asatsuyu is actually a tea which gives a small harvest. It's very delicate, or it's kind of sensitive to the cold weather, so it is quite a difficult cultivar to grow. But what I like about Asatsuyu, that it has a nice green color and it's very sweet and still a little bit refreshing. In Yabukita, quite broad, quite complex in all directions, a little bit of a freshness, a little bit of a grassiness, and a lot of umami as well. And as this tea is shaded, here I expect to have quite a sweet deep steamed tea. And this is then the Yamaga no Sato for this side. Now we go into the Murasaki. So Murasaki is a nearly 100% Yuta Kamidori. Yuta Kamidori is a cultivar which is more in the south. So this blend, or this, it is a blend, but it is mostly Yuta Kamidori, and the Yuta Kamidori is a cultivar which grows mainly in the south. The south having a nice climate, because the Yuta Kamidori is actually also giving a lot of yield, like the Yabukita, even a little bit better, but it is frost sensitive, so it has to be grown more in the south where the climate is milder. And there it can become a very beautiful tea. And also the normal Yuta Kamidori, when you harvest it, it is a little bit astringent, but by pushing it through the deep steam method, which kind of sweetens and suppresses a little bit the astringent side of the tea, this tea can become a very, very fine Fukamushi or very fine green tea in the end. So, unshaded, shaded, blend, nearly exclusive Yutaka Midori. And now I really want to see what is the taste difference of these two tea and really dive a little bit into the taste. Good. I brought 2 black Tokoname Kyushu. As you can see, unfortunately, this one is a little bit broken, but it doesn't hinder the taste of the tea, as the inside of the Kyushu is still quite similar. And we're gonna take around 6 grams today. So normally I take around 5 grams. Today I gave it a little bit more leaf, and now we're just gonna brew these 2 teas. I prepared my water at 60 degrees Celsius, 140 Fahrenheit, and now we're just gonna brew these for 45 seconds. The beauty of Fukamushi is that this tea really doesn't need a long brewing time. Here we talk about 45 seconds. Normal Senchas you talk about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes, and with the Gyokuro, so very high grade, tightly rolled teas, there we talk about 2 to even 3 minutes. So this tea is very, very fast done. Also good when you're in the morning. You don't have too much time. You don't want to wait too much for the brewing. So then the Fukamushi is definitely an easy way to go, because it doesn't really need any skills to brew it. You just put the water in, you wait a little bit, and the tea is done. This is what we're going to do here. So we already can take it out and just pour it. So already here we see a difference. So as the Yamaga no Sato is a mix of Asatsuyu and of Yabukita, it doesn't clog that much. Meanwhile, the Yutaka Midori has the tendency to clog a little bit. Good. So we got both out. Good. Now first let's have a look at the leaves. Grab this right. Good. So Yabukita first. You can see that here the Yabukita has nice leaves, still quite big, so it's not a very kind of small leaf brew, and you can see even that some of the leaves are not fully rolled out. Now Yutaka Midori, much finer leaves, so that's the reason also why this tea clogged a little bit more. So here I suggest you with the Yutaka Midori, what I haven't done here is to have a strainer, like a full strainer Kyushu. There you actually don't have the clogging, so it's much easier to brew it and much easier to get the water out. Just as a small side note, what I could have done better with this one here. But let's go into the brewing. So we don't have the exact same amount of water, so I just want to add a little bit of water here, just to have the same taste experience, same base for both of the teas. Good. Okay, what can we see? Already in color you see the Yutaka Midori, so this one here is a little bit brighter, a little bit more kind of a yellowish, so the brighter leaves give a little bit of a less green color in the first brewing than the Yamaga no Sato. And now I'm very curious about the taste. When we go first, so Yamaga no Sato, very strong on the side of sweet corn. There's a little bit of creaminess, a little bit of nuttiness I get, and nearly a little bit of a buttery note. So it seems to have a lot of theanine, a lot of essential oils. Just look if I see any essential oils floating on the top. Doesn't seem like it. And now let's go to the Yutaka Midori. Okay, Yutaka Midori. Greener, lighter in the nose. Yeah, here we have this deep kind of umami flavor. So you have much more of this theanine, kind of deep, savory notes. while here much more lighter, a little bit on the spinachy side. So definitely have here kind of a lighter and the more grassy side of the tea. Okay, good. Now let's see how the taste is of these two teas. So first we go for the Yamaga no Sato. I have a very nice kind of a mango, have a little bit of papaya, have a nice greenness to it, so a little bit of like spring or like of baby spinach taste profile. Not so strong on the savoriness, but quite present. So there's a presence of the savoriness of the tea. But very sweet, very round. Now as I go a little bit deeper on the tea, you see also the sediments at the bottom. I get much more savoriness, but still very fruity, very strong on the mango side, and even a little bit of a banana, but more fruity on the mango side. Now let's go to the Yutaka Midori. Very surprising. So I was actually more looking and waiting for kind of a sweet but grassy taste. I got quite a grassy flavor on the Yamaga. More of a denser, kind of a rounder. And here. It's lighter, but also, so they're very close to each other. But this one here has a little bit more of a tingling, a little bit of a fresher note. Meanwhile, here we have a lot of fruit, a lot of kind of savory, full body. So it's adding a little bit more of a heavier texture or kind of a deeper texture to this. Also the mouthfeel here is kind of more kind of denser, more strong, kind of more full-bodied, while here the mouthfeel is lighter. But it's quite strong on the savory side. It's definitely two teas which can battle with each other. So there's not really a better or worse one, but it's just very different. So if you're looking for a Fukamushi, which is like this full-bodied, full flavor profile, and a little bit of a savoriness and more kind of a sweet and fruity, then you should go for the Yamaga. Here, I have a quite strong savoriness of the tea, and it adds in a little bit of acidity, so it's more a little bit of a tingling on the top of the tongue, and not so much grassiness. I was expecting more grassiness from this, but I definitely get it more. I get more of the grassy taste with the Yamaga. Good. This was the first brewing. Now let's do a second one, second round. Just to get the flavor. Good. And we're gonna brew it very shortly. Et voila. First this one here, and then this one here. You see again, so you really see this tea strongly clogging now. So the Yamaga no Sato has definitely bigger leaves. We have the proof here just in the pouring of the tea. Whoa. This is pretty tough, so I just have to be patient. that the water gets through. So with this one here, definitely I suggest you to have a full strainer which goes around the whole Kyusu. And we try to get out everything. So you're live when I do a brewing mistake, so taking the wrong Kyusu for this tea. Good, I think we get out everything. Et voila, yeah. Now we get everything. Et voila. Et voila. Good. Think we got everything? Yeah, we did. And here, the same. So you can really see, for example, the Yamaga, still the leaves are quite big. Nice to see. And with this one here, you can see that the leaves are just small. They're kind of more of being together to one, nearly a little bit dough-like. You can see when I roll it down. So this is much a finer tea. I could already see it in the leaves, but I was a little bit surprised how clogging they were. So definitely need a full strainer Kyusu for this one here. Next time I will know, as I'm still getting to know this tea. Good. Now we see, as with this one here, we got much more of a brewing, and you really see the color difference now. Both of them super green, but this one here, just the Murasaki, definitely stronger in its green color. Now, let's start. A little bit more of acidity now coming into the Yamaga, but still very fruity. It's a little bit, it's funny, like at first you get the strong fruitiness and then you have this hint of grassiness swinging with it. Very nice. I guess this is Dasatsuyu swinging a little bit more its grassy taste into the taste of the tea. So this one evolves a little bit and goes a little bit more on the side of the grassy tones, from sweetness, fruity sweet to grassy. Now this one here. Okay, now it shows much more of a grassiness. It's actually pretty funny. When you take it in your mouth, so when the liquid just hits your tongue, you get a little bit of you get quite a strong kind of acidity, tingling feeling. And from the experience, I would say, okay, now actually astringency is coming. So I expect kind of a wave of astringency, but the Fukamushi, so the steep steaming, really suppresses the bitter or the astringent note of the tea, and it really stays kind of, it's like really leveled down astringency. You feel the acidity, it's tingling on the top of your tongue, and you have a nice grassiness then swinging in, and a little bit of a citrusy tone, so you have much more of citrusy tones. Here I have it too, but you have a lot of fruitiness with it. With this one here, in the second brewing, I expect it to be pretty astringent, but it doesn't become astringent. It's really suppressed. And now I have a fresh, kind of fresh, grassy flavor profile in my mouth. Very, very nice. So I would say the Yutaka Midori has a little bit more of this acidity, and for some people it might be that it is a little bit more astringent. And in the first brewing, showing quite a strong umami, so a little bit of a savory flavor profile, and then it changes over and gives much more space to a nice grassiness and a little bit of astringency of the second brewing. I think I could go to 3, 4, even 5. And with this one here, very fruity in the first one, a little bit of acidity. Fruitiness goes a little bit down. There's a little bit more also space for the grassiness, but it stays strong on the fruity side, this one here. So I would say kind of fruity sweet with a hint of grassiness, and this one is a little bit like sweet but savory, and then a stronger grassiness, especially in the second brewing. Good. These were 2 Fukamushis. I hope you like this one here. Just going deep into the taste of these 2 teas, comparing them, seeing what are the differences between the flavor profiles of these teas. And if you ever have a question, or if you ever want a topic or me to cover a topic, then I would love to do that. Just ask me a question, just give me a hint, say me something which you would like to have covered. I will do it as good as I can, and then I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.